Northam was previously part of Goldfields and Mvelaphanda, but it is now independent and has a market cap of 9 billion. It has a deep level producing mine called Zondereinde, which is near Rustenburg, and it also owns a huge prospect, Bosendal, on the eastern limb of the Bushveld complex. Northam has a price to earnings ratio of 18 and a dividend yield of 0.6%. Let's look at the two operations of Northam, that Bosendal. It's got a mining life of about 50 years, which is pretty long, but let's look at Zondereinde specifically.
I always think it's a hilarious irony that the mine called Zondereinde is the one that's running out, because if you know Afrikaans, Zondereinde means it never finishes. But in this case, the mine, it's just near Northam, which is in fact where they have that Oppie festival, if you're interested. So that's where the mine is, up there near Northam, and I mean it's a ore body which in fact was quite difficult when they first developed it. They had all sorts of problems getting it, production-wise, because it's got holes in the ore body as a result of volcanic action back in the old days. So, I mean, that's where the cash flow comes from. And then they're using that to do the Bosendal development. Bosendal is not in the same area, but it's a massive, massive project. The problem is, of course, it has no existing shaft infrastructure.
Looking at Zondereinde, like Paul says, never ending. But the issues that at Zondereinde, what type of issues are they facing there?
Life of mine, finite mine. I always looked at Zondereinde and so it looked as without end. But the troubles seem to be without end. And you mentioned some of the geological problems. Clearly Paul was a geologist in some time in the past. But seriously, they are huge. They are greater than had ever been expected. I think it goes to say that the best prospects are probably the ones held by Anglo-American Platinum and Implats. And the others are going to face cost pressures that are going to come on at unexpected times. So difficult to support that. Now,
an analyst that was on our show a few months ago was saying about Northam, it's going lower and lower and lower and lower. Is it going lower and lower and lower here, Paul?
Well, there's another reason that I think it has turned tail. Round about here, they announced that they weren't going to try to sell the mine or the business to Impala or any of the other parties that had expressed an interest, but they were going to go it alone. So they were going to do the Bosendal thing on a kind of pay-as-you-go basis. So they sold a portion of the assets to Aquarius for 600 million rand, and they arranged a bank financing facility from Nedbank to get the thing going. Now it turns out, I don't know, Aquarius are in all types of trouble at the moment. So I don't know if Aquarius are going to be able to pay them that amount of money. So that's not really a serious problem, but the problem is if you're going to do this and do some sort of minor shaft infrastructure and then develop a bit further, then, so I think people are anxious that the sort of life of mine issues at the one end and the capital development on the other are starting to look a bit rocky. It's a nice operation and it's got good management and they run a very tidy ship. But I worry a little bit about whether or not the Bosendal asset now is starting to, just not be given the same kind of valuation in the future that is reflecting in the share price.
And Bosendal is due to come online in 2013, which is next year.
Yes, hopefully, but due to and will actually happen. On mining projects, they always run late. They always go over capex, and it is a problem. I just wonder what's the shareholders of Mvelaphanda say about this wonderful opportunity that they recognized, I think, 5-6 years ago, and it was a terrific advantage for them, great asset value, and look what's happened. It will be a tough lesson for other new would-be mining magnates.
Tough lesson for other would-be mining magnates.
Well, it kind of got unbundled and passed on, so the shareholder base is also a bit loose at the moment. It doesn't really have a controlling party. It's not tiny. Look, it's a 8 billion rand market cap, as you mentioned. So I'm not all that negative on them, but the trouble is at around 20 rand a share, it's sort of lost its allure. And if you're looking for a stock to play the recovery in the sector, this one's a little bit high risk, a little bit high beta. It probably makes more sense to go with the bigger players.
Hot or not on Northam?
No, afraid not, sadly.
Sorry, I'm out in winter all day.
Maybe you'd give me a hot, so not hot on Northam.